Good morning. So I think we can start. So today we're going to look inside machine. This is presentation SLMS asked to encourse prepare. So I'd like to introduce ourselves. I'm Gregory Altshuler. I am Chief Technologist of IPG Medical. It's a company which specializes in the surgical field, but for about 20 years I was CTO of Palomar Medical. So probably you know me as everything what's done Palomar, good or bad, is actually me. So Ilya Yaroslavsky, it's Director of Advanced Research of same company, IPG Medical, and we used to work with Ilya almost for 20 years. Ilya was in Palomar, Director of Advanced Research, same position. And Bob Weiss, who probably know everybody, will join us in 2 minutes. So let's start. So look to in our presentation, we like to focus for 3 subjects. First, Ilya will present you some idea about biological structure, interaction with different energy sources, which is probably first time we're doing. Normally we talk about light tissue interaction, but today I like to present bigger picture. And I will give you some short review of what is a real inside machine, how we do it, what is different type of laser and different other type of energy sources. And I ask Bob more detailed present you idea about RF energy, which is becoming more and more popular. So, and finally we'll do short review of the so which kind of modality should be used for different indication, because obviously for certain indications some modalities most useful, others not. So we'll do this short review. Okay, let's start.
Thank you for joining us so early in the day, and we'll try to make it worth your while. So we'll start with outline. The question we're going to answer in the first part of this presentation is how biological structures can be affected with directed energy. And we're going to focus mostly on electromagnetic energy, but we'll also touch upon acoustic energy, which is also a popular means of affecting biological structures. So in terms of electromagnetic spectrum, you can see here the range of frequencies ranging from 0 DC all the way to gamma rays emitted by stars. And the small section here represents the area used for electrosurgery, and this section is light. So most of the applications today are based on electromagnetic energy roughly in this spectrum of range of frequencies. If we look how effect on tissue changes when intensity and time of interaction varies, we can arrive to this very nice graph, which shows that when intensity increases, we're going all the way from mild photochemistry through coagulation, vaporization, thermal ablative effects, photoablation, and finally photodisruption when intensity of light increases and time of interaction decreases. So one question you might ask, what happens here? And here it's mostly nothing. What happens here is that this effect will be predominant when projected towards longer interaction times. What actually absorbs directed energy in tissue to make it interact? And here are shown absorption spectra of the most important chromophores in biological tissues. So by far the most important of them is water, which of course is basis of all biological tissues. And as you can see, it has absorption peaks around 3 microns and around 10 microns, which explains why lasers such as erbium YAG and CO2 are so popular. They hit exactly the absorption peaks of water. 2 other important chromophores are blood, and the spectra here, and melanin. So that explains why all the systems for vascular and hair work have wavelengths in this range. how deep electromagnetic energy penetrates into biological tissue. And this graph gives you some ideas. So generally, the penetration increases when the wavelength increases from UV to near infrared, and it reaches its maximum at about 1 micron wavelength. So that explains why neodymium lasers are so popular for deep heating, since if you really want to heat the tissue at some depth, that would be your best choice. Then penetration starts to decrease because of water absorption, and it really never achieves the values characteristic for the visible and near infrared range. Now, let's go over the gamut of effect on biological systems when intensity increases. So we'll start with photobiomodulation, which is the lowest intensity, but probably the most complex interaction of electromagnetic energy with the biological body. And here, this graph shows how the temporal effect changes when the duration of interaction changes. So the duration is shown here on this axis. And as you can see, the longer the interaction time, the larger is biological structure, and the more complex is the system which is affected by the interaction. Now, when I prepared this talk, I asked one of these AI systems, which are so popular right now, to make a movie which would be instructive about photobiomodulation. And this is what this AI came up with. So I think, hard as I tried, I could not get it kind of more scientific than it is. It always tried to do it more artistic, which I think shows the power of AI, but at the same time, its limitations. So AI still needs human help. That's why we go to principles of photobiomodulation in more, perhaps mundane, but I think more useful form. And the distinct mechanism of action for photobiomodulation are identified here. So there are 4 of them. We increase hemoglobin reduction through absorption of light by oxygenated hemoglobin. We increase production of ATP through absorption of light by cytochrome C. We increase blood circulation through heating, direct heating, and that's what I refer to as thermally enhanced photobiomodulation. And finally, there is the interesting mechanism recently proposed by Dr. Wu for direct absorption of water, which changes structure of water and then causes cascade of biological reactions. So, but net result of that, which has been shown without any doubt, is that we do increase metabolic activity of treated cells, which then is manifested in various clinically significant benefits, such as pain and inflammation reduction, accelerated degeneration of damaged tissues, and many other effects of similar nature. This diagram shows the role of cytochrome C in the metabolic process of the cell. Now, when we increase intensity of interaction, remember graph on the second slide, we go to heating, we create hyperthermia. Hyperthermia starts on nanoscale, and you can actually control the size of hyperthermia by controlling the duration of interaction. And it can go all the way to macro scale, where we can heat the whole body. At some point, we arrive at a situation when we start causing damage to biological structures. And damage is typically manifested in thermal denaturation of structural proteins of cells. This process is described by what's known as Arrhenius equation. It's shown here, and it may look complex, but the idea is very simple, is that the longer you apply high temperature to biological system, the more significant will be damage to that system. And this plot shows how the temperature and duration of interaction affects resulting damage to the tissue. Now, by changing the duration of applied energy, the pulse width in more common terms, one can limit the damage, which is known as principle of selective photothermolysis, first proposed by Dr. Anderson and Parrish in the 80s. And this principle is basis of many, many treatments and devices which you can see at this conference and the exhibition. You can also limit the damage by spatially confining your energy. And that is the basis for what is known as fractional treatment, which can be implemented with lasers, with RF, and other systems. Finally, when you keep increasing the intensity of interaction, you really start to vaporize tissue. And this vaporization, again, starts on microscale and can be extended to macro scale. Now, the vaporization, they comes in different flavors. When you have like significantly too long pulse, you cause a lot of coagulation and carbonization, which is shown on this slide in the middle picture. However, if you fine-tune parameters of your source, you can cut tissue very precisely without additional coagulation or vaporization. And by controlling the parameters of the beam, you can dial what you want to do. More ablation, less coagulation, or if you need to stop bleeding, then you can actually defocus the beam and go to more of coagulative effect. An alternative to electromagnetic energy is acoustic energy, which is also very popular. And similar to electromagnetic, the range of effects on biological systems changes with change of intensity of acoustic action. One popular method to limit the zone of interaction in acoustic energy is focusing the acoustic energy with focusing transducer. And there are many systems which apply this principle for various applications. However, being it electromagnetic or acoustic energy, the general principle stands. You start with mild effect on tissues without really damaging them. Then you go up, you hit them, and finally you end up with vaporizing and ablating the tissue. Thank you so much.
So next step, we look inside machine. We start from laser NPL, which is most familiar, mostly using in dermatology, which is main audience here. So we're using this type of laser, diode laser, solid state laser, fiber laser, which is probably something sounds like new, and I will explain what this means. Gas laser, dye laser, and APL. This major laser we're using. I start from diode laser because it's most efficient, most simple, most reliable laser. Diode laser is, for example, if you look to inside light shear hair removal device, you can find about 20 to 100 diode laser bar. And every laser bar is very tiny, like 10 millimeter by 1 millimeter plate. This is cheap. And inside this, we have additional from, you see here, 5 to 10 lasers. Finally, if you look to light shear, you have about several thousand lasers inside. Each diode laser, individual laser, is tiny layer of semiconductor material with so-named quantum well. You see, this is size of this laser itself. It's from like 150 to 500 microns, and length about 1 or 2 millimeters. This is how complicated this laser. But good news is produced in mass production is very cheap and extremely electrically efficient. And they produce, each laser produces individual beam, which all this beam we mix together with concentrate and optics and deliver to the skin for hair removal. So, and this is, again, is very modern, very efficient laser. Now we're talking more classical laser, which is probably 50% of dermatology practice, so named flash lamp solid state laser. This solid state laser, including active rod, which is about size of my finger, this size, with which active medium, it's including ions which generate light, doping crystal. And this rod we're placing between two mirrors, which is create our lasing. So to make lasing effect, we're using flash lamp with very, very broad spectrum to pump road, and photons coming between two mirrors many, many times and generate laser energy. So this laser, it's most used laser in dermatology, but I would say it's medicine, probably just one area when people continue using this old type of laser. Why? Because it's extremely low efficient. Efficiency of the laser from half to 4%. What does it mean? Basically, if you're using pumping from electric plug 1 kilowatt energy, kilowatt power, right? Just you can generate just 40 watts light, not more. Other energy coming to heating your room. This very low efficient. But more modern implementation of solid-state laser, pumping with diode laser bar, similar like here. So instead of lamp, you're using laser bar. In this case, efficiency going to 10–50%. It's much more efficient. And finally, I will tell you about laser structure of most modern, most probably efficient and universal laser platform, which was came to the market maybe like 10–15 years ago. This is named fiber laser. What is a fiber laser? Fiber laser is not usual quartz fiber. It's just fiber doped by certain ions like erbium, thulium, yttrium, which generate light similar like solid-state laser. Length of this fiber, this is actually, you see, coin of fiber. Length of this fiber about 30 meters, from here to here. So at the end of this fiber, we have instead of mirror, we have sometimes grating, which playing role of the mirror. So finally, laser effect becoming from transportation photons between these two mirrors inside fiber. What is unique with this laser? Diameter of the beam we generate here about 10 microns, extremely small. So if we like to focus this beam in a tiny spot, it's very easy to do. Right? And extremely stable and extremely robust and very efficient. This laser actually you can find in Fraxel, you know, the first platform which built based on such laser, it was Fraxel. Any thulium laser which you're using is thulium fiber laser, same thing, right? And this is platform becoming more and more popular. Yeah. So this just big picture when we show which laser we're using for different wavelength generation. Okay. So I don't like to review this. I make this table just for somebody who is interested about details. I don't like to review this table, take probably the rest of the time. And you can see this most laser which we're using, it's just two laser, dye laser, which very low efficiency. And again, diode laser is uniqueness with dermatology, just one application when people continue to use diode laser. Now in other industries it was not using anymore. And solid-state laser, efficiency about several percent. All other laser very, very efficient, which make it so your machine is smaller and can generate more energy. So radio frequency I pass this because we asked to join to our team Dr. Robert Weiss, who is probably Robert, I just several seconds, I need to finish. Robert is probably best expert in the world in not just in the application radio frequency, but in understanding this technology, because he's participant most developed. I just tell you briefly that we have two types of radio frequency, like monopolar, when we need two electrode, one electrode applied to the back, is mostly using for surgery, and bipolar RF, which we both electrode and inside your handpiece. This distribution of this heating. And finally, about ultrasound. Ultrasound is much more simple than laser, right? Basically, this transducer, which is like thin layer of piezo crystal, which you pump by electrical current. And by provide electrical current, vibration of this piezoelectrical crystal, we generate acoustic energy. And can be from, in medicine, we're using high frequency ultrasound from 4 to 12 megahertz, right? And this beam is very easy to focus by using curvature on the transducer, you see like here. And in this case, you can focus this beam almost in any part of your body. You know, this technology we're using for, for breaking stone, if necessary. But in dermatology, we can targeting any layer, and I think as we talk about deep layer heating or processing, this is probably best sources of energy. So this one is the example we're using for skin tightening. It's been using this fractional ultrasound and deliver energy in a fractional way. So now I pass to Aref. Yeah, yeah.